right now we are seeing smoke coming out. We're looking at these live pictures of Gaza City. We're seeing smoke coming out of Gaza City at this moment. What do you believe could be happening right now? As we are talking about this, we've seen already quite a few airstrikes occurring in Israel throughout Gaza, but the vast concentration of them are in Gaza City. What do you think is happening tonight?
Okay, so the smoke that you're seeing right now, that's a result of direct F-15 and F-35 Israeli Air Force selective fire. There's Special Operations Air Force Commandos, a unit called Sheldog, very elite Tier 1 asset. It's called the Kingfisher unit. And they are on the ground helping to put those missiles into specific Hamas buildings to completely dismantle Hamas's infrastructure so that it mobilizes them completely. That's what the smoke is from. The other thing, the reason why this is happening at night, it allows clandestine operations to be conducted within Gaza using deception for operatives to be able to get inside there, tapping cell phones, putting down recording devices. So Israel is setting an entire pre-raid operation here for two things. One, for when that counteroffensive starts, and then two, and the most important thing for us, be able to get those hostages back.
Let's take a listen here. You can hear those bombs going off in the background in Gaza City. We don't always hear or see at this time of night.
If you're on the ground right
quite
now,
a
you're
lot,
feeling that. You're
but
feeling
you
that
can.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Can you even tell, based on listening to that, the force, the magnitude of what they are?
Yeah. I mean, look, there's going to be a lot of destruction. A lot of people are going to get killed and hurt. It's happening on the Israeli side and the Palestinian. So I want to make something really clear. Israel has no issues with the Palestinian people. In fact, the Palestinian people ideally would want to be able to cross the southern border of Gaza to get into Egypt. But they can't. Hamas is keeping them closed in there. And like what's his name said, that is a problem if they're starting to be used as human shields, and it creates immense levels of risk to the Palestinians. And so we do our best to follow international law.
When we look at the before and after of some of these spaces, it looks like just an enormous amount of rubble. Do you see a tactical strategy in the flattening of some of these buildings?
Absolutely.
All of that?
Absolutely, yeah. So the flattening of the structures, the artillery pieces that are going in there, they're starting to open up lanes, if you will, for this massive counteroffensive that's being prepared. The other thing that we're doing is we're tiring out Hamas. We're treating this as what we call like a pressure cooker. In Hebrew, we call it a sir lachatz. And that pressure cooker is designed to try and slow things down so that we can collect intelligence and so that we can tire out this terror group. And a tired terrorist is a better terrorist who's holding innocent women and children. So taking our time and doing the best we can to collect info, try and slow this thing down, opening up lanes for the Givati Brigade, which is equivalent to the U.S. Marines. They're the ones who are in charge of the Southern Command, and they're the ones who have been into Gaza previously in the last war in Gaza. And so they're opening up parting ways, if you will, so that the Israelis will be able to move in there as safely as possible to get to the terrorists.
And is it safe to describe what we are seeing tonight and hearing tonight in the skies over Gaza as a prelude potentially to a ground invasion?
Well, I can tell you that a ground invasion is imminent. When it's going to happen, I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to speculate, and I don't want to give out any information that might be inaccurate. But the fact that 300,000 reservists have been mobilized, the fact that the Givati Brigade is down there, the fact that the Israeli SEALs are already operating on that coast, you can bet that they're preparing for the inevitability of having to go in there. And the unfortunate part, like Anderson said very gently and eloquently, it's going to be vicious. You can hear you can hear the missile fire. You can hear that hitting the rubble. There's going to be a lot of violence of action. There will be a lot of death and trauma. But we believe there could be over 150 hostages in there. So we're looking at two multiple assaults.
And Aaron, I just want to emphasize for our viewers, if you've been joining us nightly, we do not always hear bombardment at this hour of this strength. This seems to be
There's
more.
intense
And there's an
fighting that's
intensity
happening right
that
now.
we
Those
are
are I
witnessing
hear
right
artillery
now.
pieces that are going off. Again, that's to soften and open up the runways for those infantry units that will eventually go in. I hear the call to prayer right now also. The other thing we're hearing is that selective missile fire. There's potentially Israelis inside Gaza right now. These are special operations forces. They're doing everything they can to get intelligence, to prepare for the counteroffensive. And unfortunately, this is the price that Israelis pay and that Palestinians pay.
Let's listen for just a moment. As you just said, this is the call to prayer. You're listening and watching. These are images of Gaza City as the bombs light up the night sky there. We're hearing what sounds like a call to prayer, even some sirens a few moments ago, as the bombs are dropping right now. This is the population center of Gaza. About almost 600,000 people live here. And the intensity of the bombardment seems to have picked up just in the last couple of minutes as we've been speaking to you and watching these images. It's a sign, according to my guest here, Aaron Cohen, that potentially this is picking up. And as he says, as you've said, Aaron, perhaps a sign that this ground invasion could be imminent, as is the Israeli Defense Forces are moving more aggressively, it seems, tonight to prepare to soften this ground for the some 300,000 troops who are amassed along the border, get ready to go in.
That's right, that's right. And Gaza is an incredibly densely populated area. Hamas has had years to keep building it up. This is one of the most dangerous places on earth. I just want to make it really clear, the Israelis, as an IDF soldier, as a veteran of the IDF, we don't have an issue with the Palestinians. And we want to do what we can to get Hamas away from them. And so we're going to use as much selectivity. The difference with the footage that you were showing is that we're not going to indiscriminately hurt anybody. However, lines have been crossed and decisions have been made. Leadership will roll. Intelligence heads will be gone. We're not focusing on that right now, but this is the most significant hostage siege in the history of modern warfare.
Let's talk about that for a second. Again, I mean, the hostages, is it necessary for there to be surgical operations to try to find and free those hostages prior to any kind of more large-scale ground invasion of the IDF?
Yes, it is critical to continue to soften as much of the Hamas infrastructure within Khan Yunis, within Rafah, within Gaza City and all of the small villages in between in order to reduce risk to those larger infantry units that are going to move into Gaza, in order to minimize getting killed. Urban warfare is incredibly complex. This is essentially asymmetrical or 90-degree angle fighting. And so bringing down those buildings means less walls for terrorists to hide behind.